Hi, I wanted to do a video for parents today. I'm Julie Bieland, and I am a psychotherapist that specializes in the trait of high sensitivity. So I work globally with thousands of HSPs all over the world, and I constantly get emails and inquiries from parents, and they're telling me about, maybe problems with their kids, and they want to know if I could work with their kids. And you know what's really interesting about that? Because I've been doing this for a while as a psychotherapist, and is that if there's something going on with your child, like for example, say they have high anxiety, I want you to look at your own life first, because one of the things that shows up, I think, pretty much every time I've ever worked with a parent about their anxious child, especially their sensitive child, with their highly sensitive child, is that something's not going well in the parent's life. And that could be their relationship, that could be their own anxiety. I cannot tell you how many parents have their own really high anxiety and they don't do anything about it. But when their child shows up with anxiety, they take their child in to come see someone. And the thing is that we need to look at this as a holistic approach, because for children, you need to be okay. If you're not okay, your kids are not going to be okay, because a child's brain doesn't know that, okay, mom or dad is okay, maybe they're fighting or maybe they're really anxious, but I'm going to be okay. That's not how a child's brain works. A child's brain works that if you're not okay, they're not okay. So, one of the first things that I tell parents is you need to do your own work. You need to work on your own life, your relationships, your anxiety levels, your stress levels. You need to do that because that's going to directly impact your child. And if you don't do that, you're putting a band-aid on a big wound for that child. So one of the things that shows up, and I love it when I see parents come into my course, when I see sensitive parents come into my course, when they have sensitive children, because they get to learn these methods and teach their children. And I always hear the feedback, which I absolutely love, is that, you know what, they're getting better. Like they're little things like, there's examples of maybe the child is, developing a fear and they can't sleep in their own bed. That's an anxious thing. That's where they don't feel safe and secure for some reason. And that might be because you're not okay. And parents are so stressed right now, especially sensitive parents, like HSP parents. You have so much going on in your life. I know it. I'm an HSP parent, and if I hadn't have done the work that I've done and the brain training, that's my big thing, is brain training for the sensitive brain, because you have many of us as HSPs have certain challenges in our brain that make us more susceptible to stress. And if you're doing what everybody else is doing, it might not be working for you. So if you're anxious or you're fighting in your relationship a lot, and, a lot of HSPs struggle in having healthy relationships because they have to do their own work first. You need to do work on yourself and work on, emotional regulations. I've done videos in the past about emotional regulation, about the differences in the brain of the HSP. And these things are really important to understand about yourself. I cannot stress it enough. If you have a child that has problems, I really want you to be in doing your own work, whether that's in therapy, you join my program, my 8-week program to train your brain to reduce stress and anxiety and get your family more balanced and centered. You're the heart of that. And everything that you do for your own well-being supports that system, the entire system. If you're skipping breaks, if you're depleted, if you have no time to yourself and you're feeling overwhelmed all the time and you're feeling anxious and you're feeling all these things, that is going to translate into your child's experience. They're going to mirror that, especially a sensitive child. Even if you think you're hiding stuff, you can't hide stuff from a sensitive child. And a highly sensitive child picks up on everything. So they feel when you're not okay. So that's really important. If you really want to be the best parent you can be, do something about your own well-being, okay? And I teach that all the time in my books, in my 8-week course. There's a lot of great information out there. You can go to my website. One of the pages on my website is hspresources.com. I have dozens of pages on that. I have actually done quite a few podcasts and interviews. People have interviewed me about this trait. I've done a lot about parents, sensitive parents. I've done a lot about parents raising sensitive children. Listen to some of these podcasts. I think they're going to really help you. They're all available on that part of my website, hspresources.com. You can make this better. And when you do your own self-care as a parent to be your best self, you are impacting them in a positive way. So I don't want to hear any more excuses from you parents. I know it. And some of the HSP moms are the worst with this. They're at the bottom of the priority list. And you think you're being such a giving mom by putting yourself at the bottom of the priority list so that everybody else gets something but you. That doesn't work long term. You got to be at the top of your priority list because you're the engine. You've got to keep this family strong, but you have to be strong to keep the family strong, to keep your child strong and make sure they're okay. So that's really such a huge part of it. If I can give you that message, if you have a struggling child, I want you to look at what's going on at home in your own life, and you can make those changes. I love it. Like I get to work with these HSPs for 8 weeks about this, and I get to hear the stories, and I get to hear the wins about like, wow, you know what, this worked for me, this worked for my child. I'm teaching this to my child. I mean, what a gift you're giving them. I think about that all the time when my boys at the time of this video are in older high school years. And sometimes I look at them with such awe that they are so emotionally healthy. And I wasn't anywhere near that emotionally healthy when I was their age. And this is an example of if you give your children your best, balanced self, if you give them your balanced self, they're going to be able to fly in the world. And you're giving them a gift. You're helping them develop their own emotional regulation, because emotional regulation gets developed in our childhood. That part of the brain gets developed in our childhood. And if your children are sensing that you're anxious and stressed out all the time, there's a chance that they might not even develop that part of their brain, which is why we see in the research that children that are not feeling supported at home in their sensitivity and in their needs, getting their needs met as a sensitive child, that it actually prevents certain kinds of emotional regulation in your brain. So that means that like when you respond to something and you don't have that part developed well enough in your brain, that's when we go into reactions and meltdowns and anger and irritability and lacking patience and overwhelm and depletion and snapping at everybody around us and melting down, or maybe we're trying to hide in our room and get away from everything. I mean, that's not the way to live, and that's not the way that your kids need their parent. They need their parent to be well. So, carting your kids around to tons of activities, if that's affecting your wellness, we need to look at that. I have actually worked with families who have prioritized getting their kids to soccer practice, basketball practice, baseball practice, all these practices, so much to the detriment of their own family that the couple, the partners started fighting. And I have literally seen families break up because they cannot keep up with the schedule. Now, that is not okay. It's your children don't need to go to that game or that practice if that's going to impact your wellness. They need you to be well first. That needs to be the priority. So I hope that this information helps you and that you look at your life. And if you're struggling as a sensitive person, come work with me. We can get it better in weeks, in just a few weeks. It takes 3 weeks to grow a new neural sprout. And that's why HSPs in my program start talking about feeling better within the first couple of weeks. It makes a difference. The tools are there. You just need to believe that you're worth it and that you believe inside of you that if you are okay, your child is going to be better. Okay? So I hope that helps you. I really want it to make a difference in your world and in your child's world. So check out that page, hspresources.com. Listen to all those podcasts and all that. Just check out all the pages because there's a lot of good stuff in there. Sign up for my newsletter. I put all these videos. I write a weekly blog. I put so much stuff in my newsletter, hspblog.com. If that's the only thing you do, sign up for the newsletter, hspblog.com. You're going to get these videos right in your inbox, and all the research and the materials that I learn, I share with you because that's my mission. So you guys take good care of yourselves in the world, okay? And your children. Bye-bye.